Dateline, October 18th, 1989. Los Angeles, California, 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 California.
Guns N' Roses, one of the biggest bands in the world, was set to open for true blue rock and roll royalty, the Rolling Stones. The last few years had been a whirlwind for the band. Their world-beating 1987 debut album, Appetite for Destruction, was well on its way to going 18 times platinum. GN'R Lies, featuring a mix of new acoustic material alongside the early demo, Live Like a Suicide, was released in 1988 and had already sold over 1 million copies and climbing. There were very few bands in the entire world which Guns N' Roses could possibly serve as the opening act for. However, $1 million payday and the chance to play with their musical heroes had led GN'R to this time and this place, opening up for the Rolling Stones for 4 consecutive shows at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. But there was a problem. Axl Rose was missing in action. Eventually, Axl had to be roused from his LA condominium and physically escorted to the venue by members of the Los Angeles Police Department. This was not an auspicious start to the performance. And things would go from bad to worse. Vernon Reid, the guitarist for the band on the ticket playing prior to Guns N' Roses, Living Colour, had just received a standing ovation from the audience following a lengthy, pointed speech decrying racism, directly inspired by Rose's recent controversies surrounding his highly problematic lyrics for the Lies track, One in a Million. Axl was not pleased. And so, before Guns N' Roses even began to play, Rose addressed the audience.
Before we start playing, I'm getting fucking sick and tired of all this publicity about our song. If you still want to call me a racist, you can shove it up your fucking ass.
The drug-addled, physically and mentally exhausted band then launched, sloppily, into their opening song, It's So Easy, during which Rose became disoriented and fell off the stage and into the photographer's pit, directing his rage and embarrassment onto his bandmates. Upon returning to the stage, he told the crowd,
I hate to do this on stage, but I tried every other fucking way. And unless certain people in this band get their shit together, these will be the last Guns N' Roses show you'll fucking ever see. Cause I'm tired of too many people in this organization dancing with Mr. Goddamn Brownstone.
Later that evening, when the Rolling Stones finally took the stage, Mick Jagger took a moment to address the chaos, saying,
I think Axl did a good show. I wish he'd just shut up and play.
Welcome to Guns N' fucking Roses, 1989 to 1992. And welcome to Heavy Metal 101! John! Oh, John. Oh, I've missed your sweet, sweet face. How you doing, good buddy?
Oh, I'm okay. You know, we're sitting here. It's MLB opening day. Your team played, apparently, supposedly.
They did.
My team plays in a couple of hours.
Whatever. You suck. You and your team. And baseball. And God. Everything sucks. Fucking Mets.
Hey, it's day one. It's day one.
Well, can you believe that we've already reached part 1 of our epic 2-part HM 101 Season 4 finale?
I mean, I'm just confused by your parts.
They're huge parts.
They seem unrelated. I don't understand why this isn't just the penultimate episode and then the next episode is the finale.
It is! I mean, look, it is the penultimate episode. It's just, there's a little bit of historical linkage between these two bands at this particular time, as we'll come to see. And B, these are quite literally the last true, just massively, massively huge rock albums, pretty much ever, at least on this scale. Specifically, of course, we're referring to Part 1, which is Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, and then Part 2, which is Metallica's Black Album.
Okay.
Regardless, it's crazy. That's what it is. It's fucking crazy. And speaking of crazy, we are about to dig deep into the story of Guns and fucking Roses at the very peak of their popularity in the early 1990s. John, allow me to provide you with a sense of scale. We are about to discuss two albums released by a single band on the very same day, which debuted at number 1 and number 2, respectively, on the Billboard pop charts and have, to date, sold nearly 40 million copies worldwide. That shit mind-blowing or what?
It truly is, considering the quality of the material we're talking about today.
So, spoiler alert here, you didn't love these albums, right?
No, I did not, Eric.
You didn't even like these albums, did you?
I thought they were middling at best.
All right. I actually have some pretty complex feelings about Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, and we will definitely get into that. I understand, however, that you may not have been swept up by the great gloriousness of these two albums. That doesn't totally surprise me, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Regardless, today we're going to get to travel back to a time when rock stars could get away with acting mind-bogglingly stupid and self-important. Now, won't that be fun?
You think they don't get away with that today?
Hmm.
Or do you just think there aren't rock stars anymore?
I think maybe the latter actually is the issue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be fun. This is going to be really fun. Now, we've previously here on HM 101 talked about GN'R's monumental debut album. That would be 1987's Appetite for Destruction. And also a bit about its fascinating and somewhat complicated follow-up, 1988's GN'R Lies. That was, collectively, the material that made Guns N' Roses one of the biggest bands the world had ever seen. And this episode's cold open looked in on just how the band were dealing with that status as the 90s were about to dawn. Now, John, I think it's fair to say that based upon the anecdote we just relayed, we could probably infer that they weren't doing especially well, no?
It does not seem as though things were harmonious.
All right. I want to set us up for what's to come by looking at something very particular, and to my mind, very telling. So, John, could you please read the following list of the personnel who were responsible for playing on the mighty Appetite for Destruction album, and specifically what it was they played?
Sure thing. W. Axl Rose, lead vocals, synthesizer on Paradise City, percussion. Slash, lead guitar, acoustic guitar, slide guitar, talkbox, backing vocals. Izzy Stradlin, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, backing vocals, percussion. Duff Rose McKagan, bass guitar, backing vocals. Steve Adler, drums.
Now, would you agree that that list seems like a reasonably reasonable assortment of the sort of personnel and instruments you might find on a late 80s heavy rock album?
Sure, 5 people, guitars, drums, bass.
Yeah, a couple specialized timbral things happening, but nothing too sassy.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest albums of all time. Maybe the greatest single debut album of all time. But that's a discussion for another time. One we've already had, frankly. Now, by contrast, if you would, please take a deep breath and read us the equivalent credits for the Use Your Illusion #1 album.
W. Axl Rose, lead vocals, piano, choir, synthesizer, programming, backing vocals, acoustic guitar, sound effects on Garden of Eden. Slash, lead guitar, rhythm guitar, slide guitar, acoustic guitar. Dobro, classical guitar, talkbox, 6-string bass, backing vocals. Izzy Stradlin, rhythm guitar, backing vocals, choir, acoustic guitar, lead vocals on Dust and Bones, You Ain't the First, and Double Talk and Jive, percussion on Bad Obsession. Duff McKagan, bass, backing vocals, acoustic guitar on You Ain't the First, choir. Matt Sorum, drums, percussion, backing vocals, choir. Dizzy Reed, keyboard, percussion, backing vocals. Additional musicians: Shannon Hoon, backing vocals on Live and Let Die, November Rain, You Ain't the First, and The Garden. Co-lead vocals on Don't Cry. Johan Langley, programming on Live and Let Die, November Rain, and Garden of Eden. Sound effects on Coma. Michael Monroe, harmonica and saxophone on Bad Obsession. Rita Shaw, backing vocals on November Rain. Stuart Bailey, backing vocals on November Rain. John Thoutwine, horn on Live and Let Die. Matthew McKagan, horn on Live and Let Die. Rachel West, horn on Live and Let Die. Robert Clark, horn on Live and Let Die. Tim Doyle, tambourine on You Ain't the First. Alice Cooper, co-lead vocals on The Garden. West Arkeen, acoustic guitar on The Garden. Bruce Foster, sound effects on Coma.
Woo! Well done, my friend. Are you exhausted? Are we done? You got anything left in you?
That was That was too many people.
It's a lot of people. A lot of people, a lot of credits, a lot going on. We had horns, we had programmers, we had keyboards, we had harmonicas, we had dobros, we had just a wide assortment of things happening. Now, I much like the band, I feel mentally and physically exhausted just from hearing all of that. Now, would you agree that there are apparent differences between these two productions?
I think we refer to this as bloat.
I think that's an accurate assessment of what we're going to be confronted with today. Yes, I think that list very clearly illustrates that we are dealing with a bloated production. Maybe a situation in which nobody in the room with these fine young gentlemen could tell them no at this point. Does that seem fair?
Apparently.
Indeed. Okay, a couple more preliminaries of note. Appetite for Destruction was 53 minutes and 52 seconds long. Lies ran just 33 minutes and 33 seconds. By contrast, Use Your Illusion 1 alone is 76 minutes and 9 seconds. 2 runs 75 minutes and 55 seconds.
Wow.
There's a lot of fucking music on these two albums, right?
I imagine I will say this multiple times over the course of this recording, but these people needed a fucking editor.
Woo! They did. I will not refute that fact. I want to take a moment just to salute you because it should be noted for our esteemed audience that I did give John, as I often do, a playlist. It's a lengthy playlist. It was well over an hour long, but it was a playlist containing what I described as some of the highs and lows of the collective Use Your Illusion albums. But John, being the intrepid heavy metal 101 explorer of sounds that he is, he listened to both. John, you listened to both albums all the way through.
Yeah.
Listened to the entirety of both albums because you kept talking about them like they were just such great monumental works of music making that you couldn't possibly comprehend them if you didn't listen to the entirety of the album. And I trusted you, Eric.
You are absolutely right about the second part that I did convey. In order to truly comprehend the Use Your Illusion albums, you really do have to listen to them both start to finish. I meant that. I said that. I think maybe you might have slightly misunderstood any notion that I personally view these as quote unquote masterpieces or essential listening. I just think that they're really fucking interesting. But I'm glad you listened. It makes me so happy. It does. It's like we have this bond now. Aww. It's like as if we had both climbed Mount Everest. Maybe not together. We weren't in the same room. We didn't climb Everest in the same expedition, but we both have been to the top. And that means something to me.
Okay.
Brother. All right. So I wanted to begin by relaying all of this information simply in order to convey the fact that Guns N' Roses, come the early 1990s, they were a very ambitious band. And it appears they felt that they had a lot to say. John, would you agree that the data would appear to back that supposition up?
They definitely felt like they had a lot to say.
Alrighty then. We've established the scope of their ambitions. Now, let's take a closer look at precisely what those ambitions yielded and the long, strange process that got us there. Guns N' Roses entered the studio to begin recording the, at the time, just one single, Use Your Illusion album on January 13th, 1990. The entire process of recording and mixing wouldn't be completed until August of 1991. Now, that's a lot of time in a recording studio for a bunch of drug-addled misfits that pretty much hated each other at the time, no?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to know how frequently they were actually in the studio recording, but that's a long time to be working on one album.
And, unsurprisingly, things did not get off to a great start.
Salacious Guns N' Roses anecdote number 1. The first song recorded was Civil War. Drummer Steven Adler, who at the time was dealing with both cocaine and heroin addictions, was so unutterably fucked up during the sessions that he couldn't properly make it all the way through the song. Following nearly 30 takes, it was determined that the only way to salvage his drumming would be to edit all of the correctly played moments into one acceptable version in post-production. This would be the last time Adler would play with Guns N' Roses until 2016. He was fired from the band on July 11th of 1990.
So salacious. Drugs, man. Drugs. John, if I was too addled by my various addictions to properly record a podcast episode, would you then fire me from HM101?
I do not believe I have hiring and firing power at this institution.
Alrighty then. Good. I'm sort of the Axel of the establishment, aren't I?
I mean, yes, if you want to make that comparison, you can.
If only I could be a white dude with dreadlocks. Anywho, enter drummer Matt Sorum. My favorite Matt Sorum fact is that he had formerly played in the pre-Tori Amos solo career band Why Can't Tori Read? He had also more recently performed with the veteran English alt-metal band The Cult and was brought into GN'R because he was an accomplished professional rather than a drug-addicted whack job. I think this was a wise move. A move I'm less certain of, however, was the decision that same year to also bring on a full-time keyboard player, Darren Arthur Dizzy Reed. Now, John, we've discussed this previously, and I think we are both in agreement. Keyboards can be tricksy when it comes to heavy metal, no?
Keyboards do not make for heavy metal sounds. They make for stupid sounds that are appropriate for other genres of music, but not the heavy metal genre.
Wow, that's broad and sweeping.
Thank you.
There are quite a lot of keyboards on the Use Your Illusion albums, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about most of it. Still, I do have two fun Dizzy Reed facts to share. You want to hear them?
I assume this will be the only opportunity we have in the history of this podcast to discuss Dizzy Reed, the keyboard player.
I don't see it coming up again. I make no promises, but yeah, you're probably right.
Well, then I guess we better get him out.
All right. Dizzy, this one's for you, buddy. 1. Other than Axl Rose himself, Dizzy Reed is now the longest contiguously serving member of Guns N' Roses. 2. Now this is fun. This is a fun fact. You're going to like this one. In 1996, he was featured on a collection called Steinway to Heaven, on which famous rock keyboardists performed classical piano standards. Reed performs Frédéric Chopin's Raindrop Prelude. Now, is that a fun fact or what?
Yeah, man, is that album good?
Oh my God. So I did manage to, it wasn't easy, but I did manage to chase down Reed's Chopin recording specifically. Mm-hmm. It is fucking atrocious.
Oh, no.
It's like if you went to like some random studio's teenage piano recital in the Midwest and they were playing, sort of stumbling their way through Chopin. That's basically what it sounded like. I mean, it was a recording. It was a professional recording, so it's not like he was hitting wrong notes, but it was just unbelievably badly played. But still, it's fun. The whole thing is fun.
I look forward to the future episode where we do a track-by-track review of that album.
Talk about a Patreon fucking exclusive, am I right?
There we go.
It'll be amazing. Okay, we've got the 90s GN'R lineup assembled. What next, muchacho?
Salacious Guns N' Roses anecdote number 2. The Use Your Illusion tour. And Axl Rose being Axl Rose.
But wait! How, one might reasonably ask, could we be talking about the tour when we still haven't, really, meaningfully discussed the albums? How, John? How?
Well, Eric, any fool knows that the Use Your Illusion tour began in January of 1991, fully 8 months prior to the release of the 2 albums.
Thank you for that clarification. Please, proceed with salacious GN'R anecdote number 2.
All told, the Use Your Illusion tour would last for 192 shows running from January of 1991 through July of 1993, during which time band members would quit, audiences would riot, and Axl Rose notoriously would behave really, really badly. For instance, on July 2nd, 1991, at a show just outside of St. Louis, Axl Rose noticed that someone in the audience was taking a video of the show. When security wasn't able to get to the man and get his camera, Axl screamed, "I'll take it, goddammit!" jumped off the stage and into the crowd, tackled said audience member, and took his camera.
As you do.
Axl climbed back onto the stage, screamed, "Well, thanks to the lame-ass security, I'm going home," and left the show. How did the audience respond to this? A 3-hour riot, which resulted in 65 injuries and hundreds of thousands of dollars in property damage.
So, as you can see, this was generally a volatile time in ye olden Guns N' Roses camp. The St. Louis riot was far from the only salacious incident on the tour, but we will get back to that shortly. Meanwhile, and I know this is crazy, but what would you say if we were to discuss some actual music?
Does it have to be music from these albums?
It's going to be music from these albums, yes. I'm sorry to let you know. The first music from the still forthcoming albums arrived on June 25th, 1991, in the form of the fucking great single, You Could Be Mine, which was prominently featured in the immortal classic film Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Hasta la vista, baby.
John, are you a fan of this fine, fine movie and or this fine, fine song?
It's been a long time since I've seen Terminator 2, but I remember enjoying it. I think what's way funnier, though, is that you might recall, upon listening to Use Your Illusion 1, one of my comments was, this album sounds like the producer of a B action movie from the 90s said, find some shitty rock band that we can pay 7 cents to record a soundtrack. And that's what this album is.
See, you were totally off base. This is nothing if not an A action movie from the 90s. Thank you very much, John. Well, it was Herr Schwarzenegger himself who asked the band to participate on the soundtrack. Arnie was a fan. Then again, back in 1991, who wasn't? Now, unsurprisingly, considering how fucking great it is, You Could Be Mine was actually written back during the Appetite for Destruction sessions, but was left off of that album. This is why that iconic, nifty lyrical turn of phrase, with your bitch slap rapping and your cocaine tongue you get nothing done, can be found in the accompanying booklet for the Appetite album. Now, John, isn't that a swell lyric?
I mean, that is a string of words put together for sure.
Beautifully. I agree. I'm glad you feel that way.
Fuck you!
Upon its release, I utterly loved this song, and it definitely had me salivating about the albums. The MTV video was rather omnipresent at that time, and it acts as a nifty media time machine that can take us way back to that very particular time and place. So, John, I think, mayhaps, we all ought to pause and take both a look and a listen. How does that sound?
Oh, sure.
Yay! Enthusiasm. Video break, bitches. Pause the podcast, click the link, and let's watch GN'R at the height of their powers, rocking alongside all sorts of T2 visual goodness. John, quick question. Where will you be after the video break?
I'll be back.
Before we return to our regularly scheduled episode, let us pause for a quick message from one of my favorite people in all of heavy metal podcasting, the wonderful John Barbas from the Heavy Metal Philosophy Podcast. John, take it away.
Hello, Heavy Metal 101 fans. In my opinion, Heavy Metal 101 is the best podcast on the history of the music we love so much. Keep it locked here. But if you're also wanting to know what new metal bands are dropping albums, join me, John Barbas, at Heavy Metal Philosophy on YouTube every Saturday morning. Get yourself an oversized bowl of cereal and enjoy your new adult Saturday morning heavy metal show every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, exclusively on YouTube, the best new metal albums, and my own podcast on the philosophy and culture of our favorite music is every Tuesday on all platforms. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to continue enjoying my favorite metal podcast, Heavy Metal 101. Oh, and P.S., HeavyMetalPhilosophy.com. Thank you.
And now, back to your regularly scheduled HM 101 episode. Already in progress. Oh my god! Such fun! John, did you enjoy that half as much as I did?
No.
What? You didn't like it?
It's just, it's not bad, okay? Let me be clear. I don't think it's bad, but it's not good.
That bass line? Oh, it's so...
The bass line was fun for 30 seconds, and then it just kept going without doing anything else, and it gets monotonous. Again, editing is really the problem with this whole album. The songs are too long, the text is too pointless, the music does not develop in meaningful ways. It needed to have cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts. This should have been maybe a 30-minute album at most.
Fuck you!
Well, I'm actually loath to agree with you, and I think 30 minutes would have been too short, but it probably could have been a single 55-minute album and been just absolutely fabulous. But fucking that song is so damn good. I love that song. I love everything about that song, and your stupid head. And Stinky. Stinky stupid head. There. I win. Having now discussed the pre-release video and the, at least partially, pre-release tour, I think the time has come to truly get down to the matter at hand. A discussion of these two massively weird motherfucking albums, Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2. As previously mentioned, Guns N' Roses released them on the very same day, which, specifically, was Tuesday, September 17, 1991. John, I can only assume that you ran right out and bought these bad boys when they were hot off the presses, right?
I still was not alive in September of 1991.
That's a problem. It's a big problem. I'm sorry for you. You really missed out.
I'm not. I dodged this bullet for 33 years before I had to listen to this shit.
And yet the bullet caught up to you, didn't it? As it does to us all eventually. You know, I sometimes forget you're a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed youngster. It's because you're so fucking grim all the time. Well, a whole bunch of people did do that very thing because Use Your Illusion 1 moved 685,000 copies in the first week of its release, resulting in its, as we mentioned, debuting, in this case, at number 2 on the Billboard charts. It was the lesser sibling, at least commercially, because Use Your Illusion 2 sold 770,000 copies in its first week of release and debuted at number 1. John, it would appear as though Guns N' Roses were a pretty fucking big deal in 1991, right?
I mean, I guess so, though I suppose touring it for that long in this era, that helps, right? Because it's not like people were just streaming tracks.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there was no access, so people had gone to the tour, they'd heard the songs, and they couldn't get the songs, so these idiots that liked this, when they finally could get access to the music, wanted to get it as quick as they could.
Speaking for those idiots, I say, yes, that is correct. Absolutely. Now, John, may I, in the glare of the public spotlight that is our internationally beloved heavy metal podcast, make a confession?
Please do.
I was, indeed, one of those people who purchased Use Your Illusion 1 immediately after it was released. But I I have never actually owned a physical copy of Use Your Illusion 2. John! Are you scandalized?
No, I'm actually kind of proud of you. I assume what happened was you listened to Use Your Illusion 1, thought, wow, this sucks. I'm certainly not going to buy the second one. And here you are, a better and wiser man.
I mean, I am wise, and this may have something to do with it. That's fair. Look, I'm honestly not quite sure why I didn't buy both at the same time.
Because you were poor.
Yeah, I assume it was a money thing. I mean, that's my guess. I was a young lad. I did not have a lot of money at the time. But I want it to be known, I've long since remedied my deficiencies in this area by listening to both of these albums about 14 million times each. Wow! I know the albums, and I have thoughts. We're going to get to those. We are going to get to those. But John, as we mentioned, you bravely forayed into listening to both of these massive albums in preparation for the episode. So, we know you didn't like it, but did you prefer one over the other? Did you have any thoughts on the relative quality of Use Your Illusion 1 versus the relative quality of Use Your Illusion 2?
Did I prefer one over the other? Okay, so Use Your Illusion 1 to me, like I said, just felt like a soundtrack for a B action movie. Nothing bad, just like a bunch of sort of okay rock songs. Use Your Illusion 2 felt more like, oh, this is lofty language to use in this context, but it felt more like an artistic statement. Like this was a band with a voice trying to say something. I just really didn't like what they wanted to say. So I guess I kind of prefer the average rock song collection over just like weird and annoying Use Your Illusion 2.
I mean, I suspect we actually have more similar thoughts on this than we normally do in these situations. Although I do want it to be said for the record that I definitely like these albums more than you do. But for me, these albums collectively fall into one of my personal favorite artistic categories, something I call the failed masterpiece. Epic in scope, endlessly fascinating to peruse, sometimes awe-inspiring, sometimes awful. Most definitely worthy of consideration, and that's what we're gonna do. John, get your artistic spelunking gear ready. It's now time to explore some of heavy metal's oddest and most foreboding recesses, as buried within the over 2.5 hours of music featured on these two albums. John! Friend, are you ready?
I'm concerned that in writing this script, you're aiming to match the sort of scope of these albums, given that we're 50 minutes into our recording session and we're just now going to start talking about the music. Makes me apprehensive about how late I'm going to be awake tonight.
I may never sleep again, I'm going to be honest with you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Beloved HM 101 listeners, welcome to the main event. Won't you join us, please, for an extended segment I like to call Get in the Ring with Eric, John, and every single goddamn motherfucking track on Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2!
You cannot be serious. We're not going to talk about all of these tracks, are we? There's so many tracks, Eric. Eric.
You want to antagonize me? Antagonize me, motherfucker. Get in the ring, motherfucker, and I'll kick your bitchy little ass, punk.
God help us all, us all.
Use Your Illusion 1. LP side number 1.
Number 1. Right next door to hell.
Eric describes this song as, quote,
a reasonably badass, straight-ahead opening track.
It was written by Rose Stradlin and former Hanoi Rocks bassist Timo Caltio. The song was conceived as something of an ode to Rose's neighbor, Gabriella Cantor, with whom he had multiple disputes, eventually leading to his arrest on assault charges. Right next door to hell indeed.
Number 2. Dust and Bones.
Another solid track. 2 for 2. Now this one is an Izzy Stradlin joint, and he actually sings it as well, which is a nice change of texture for GN'R. I'm a fan of this song and also its doppelganger on the next album, 14 Years. In the end, we all are, indeed, dust and bone and bone and bone.
Number 3.
Bone.
Live and Let Die.
Eric isn't entirely sure why Guns N' Roses added a cover of a decent Wings James Bond theme song to this album, nor why it was released as a single, but considering that it became a top 40 hit, netted the band a Grammy nomination, and is still an FM rock radio staple, it seems abundantly clear that Eric doesn't know shit.
Amen, brother! John, I'm assuming you hated this one too?
It's just so unnecessary.
Yeah, super unnecessary. The covers on this album are just, on both these albums, are really highly problematic. Just a total mess.
Yeah.
Number 4. Don't Cry.
The requisite power ballad and a top 10 hit for the band. It is also, weirdly and utterly unnecessarily, the only song included on both volumes of Use Your Illusion, though with different lyrics-ish in each iteration. Fun fact, Don't Cry dates all the way back to 1985, and it's been said to have been the first song the band officially wrote under the actual moniker Guns N' Roses. It's a nice song. I like it.
Number 5. Perfect Crime.
At 2 minutes and 23 seconds, this is the shortest song on the album, and yet another track dating back to the band's earlier days. Eric notes,
This is the first of an assortment of fast, fairly forgettable rockers on Use Your Illusion 1. It wasn't good enough to include on Appetite for Destruction, and I am not quite sure why the band felt it was good enough for this album. Alright then, we've already made it through LP side 1 of 8!
Oh my god!
Holy shitballs. There's a lot of music on these albums. John, I know you're beginning to melt down. You're beginning to get a little grumpy. Would you be okay if I speed us on through LP side 2, just real quick and dirty like?
please God.
All right, I figured. Here goes. You Ain't the First. The band recorded it drunk. It is boring filler, but maybe a reasonably functional palate cleanser within the larger context of the album. Bad Obsession. Completely forgettable filler. It's a bit like Mr. Brownstone if Mr. Brownstone wasn't a particularly good song. It does feature a guest turn from former Hanoi Rocks frontman Michael Monroe. That's pretty much the only thing it has going for it. Now, Back Off Bitch is kind of catchy, but it's sexist juvenilia written by Axl all the way back in 1981. A little bit lame. Lastly, on this cursed LP side, Double Talkin' Jive, which is still more forgettable filler, excepting that it opens with a fun line about the true fact that the head and arm of a corpse were found in a dumpster behind one of the studios where the band was recording. Also, it ends with a nifty flamenco-style guitar interlude, courtesy of Slash.
A note on Slash. While there are a lot of problems across these albums, Eric would like it noted, for the record, that Slash is most definitely the MVP throughout, and that there are a ton of magnificent riffs and solos for which he deserves much credit and praise.
And I have to ask, John, now I know you didn't much care for these albums, but did you note the just really, really fabulous assortment, particularly of guitar solos, but just general guitar artistry across these albums? Or were you benumbed by just the overwhelming quantity of materials?
I think it's more that. I mean, certainly there were a lot of solos, and again, I want to be clear, I don't think any of the solos were bad. None of them were like, holy shit, did you hear that?
Oh, come on. Estranged? November Rain?
You suck.
You're like a broken man. I mean, I get it. Again, I get there's a lot of material. I think if you listen to those again, you might be wowed by the solos.
Well, I guess we'll never know.
Fuck you!
Okay, time for a quick palate cleanser of our own. J-Rock, could you share a not particularly salacious but still very significant GNR anecdote with us before we continue along on the back half of our track-by-track evaluation of Use Your Illusion 1?
Not particularly salacious, but still rather significant Guns N' Roses anecdote. Rhythm guitarist, songwriter, and occasional vocalist Izzy Stradlin played his final show with Guns N' Roses on August 31st, 1991.
Note, this was 2 weeks before the release of the Use Your Illusion albums.
Of this time, Stradlin said, quote, "Once I quit drugs, I couldn't help looking around and asking myself, is this all there is? I was just tired of it. I needed to get out." End quote. Stradlin's departure was officially announced on November 7th when he was replaced by guitarist Gilby Clarke,
Who I just recently saw live playing in Alice Cooper's band. So that's fun. Not salacious indeed, but certainly some very important historical context. Thanks, John. Alrighty, now back to Get in the Ring with Eric, John, and every single goddamn motherfucking track on Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2. Already in progress.
The world didn't ask for this.
The world needs this. I'm like the Axel of podcasting.
Oh, boy, just bolder and bolder claims. Use Your Illusion 1, LP side number 3.
1. November Rain.
Perhaps Guns N' Roses magnum opus? Perhaps an overblown, ridiculously pompous window directly into the mind of W. Axl Rose. November Rain was accompanied by a $1.5 million video. You're shitting me. In 1991?
Ooh, it's very expensive.
Holy crap.
It's quite a production number, let me tell you.
And it hit number 3 on the Billboard charts. A pretty extraordinary achievement for a single that was 8 minutes and 57 seconds long.
Now, John, we've clearly established this. You did not like this song, did you?
No, but I'm going to listen to it again just to remember why.
4 hours later.
This is the sort of average whiny bullshit that makes me hate artists.
Wow. It is kind of whiny bullshit, but I don't know if average is the term I would use for it.
You're right. Below average.
Ooh. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Look, honestly, it's not one of my personal favorite GNR songs. There's certain things I love about it. I kind of love the back half, the guitar solo.
Such a shame that you've already died of boredom by the time that part happens, though.
Look, it's a Stone classic, and it's got an amazing Slash solo.
You can't call every fucking song on this podcast a Stone classic, Eric.
I don't think Back Off Bitch is a Stone classic. Want to go on the record and say that? See? I'm a reasonable person. I can be reasonable. Next!
Number 2, Garden of Eden. And number 3, The Garden.
Well, the first and last songs on side number 3 pretty well rule. I've never entirely understood these two songs. Now, weirdly, the band shot an accompanying video for Garden of Eden, which is just a single fisheye lens shot of the band playing the song, and is in almost complete opposition to the other wildly epic videos shot for songs from these albums. The song itself is fine. It's punky, it's fast, it's unmemorable. The Garden is also fairly forgettable, excepting that it has a guest spoken word performance by Alice Cooper. Probably the single most important fact about either of these songs is that the video for Garden of Eden was featured on the very first episode of Beavis and Butthead.
Don't damn me.
Format break! This is a top-flight track from what I sometimes refer to as the dark, dusty corners of the Use Your Illusion albums. Don't Damn Me is probably my personal favorite of those obscure and oft-forgotten tracks, lost amidst the mire that we've discussed endlessly. It's a lot of music. It's a lot of music. But this is a good song. It's even a great song, I think. I love the riff. I think the song is catchy as hell. Of course, because Guns N' Roses apparently hate me, it is also the only song from this album that they have never played live. John, for our first audio listening break, I'm going to offer a choose-your-own-adventure for our intrepid listeners. For the Guns N' Roses novices out there, allow me to offer November Rain, the first of the two links. For GN'R veterans who maybe haven't deeply perused these albums in a while, Don't Damn Me is option number 2. Now you listen to both of these songs. What do you think the listeners should do?
Don't damn me 100%. No question.
Ah, wow, John, in the Don't Damn Me corner. All right, well, you're all people with agency of your own. You just do what you feel. Listening break time. Choose your poison, November Rain, or Don't Damn Me. Either way, I think you're going to have a really nice time with Axl and the boys. And John and I will be back with you on the other side.
Use Your Illusion 1 LP, side number 4.
We can run through the 3 songs on this final side quickly and easily. Won't that be nice?
Yes.
1, Bad Apples is entirely forgettable. 2, I've actually always had a soft spot for Dead Horse, and particularly for the acoustic plaintive opening, which was both sung and played by Axl, incidentally. 3, last but absolutely not least, is fucking Coma. I love Coma. I absolutely adore it. This song alone is almost entirely worth the price of admission all by itself. John, the band chose to end Use Your Illusion 1 with the longest song they've written to date, weighing in at a nice and tidy 10 minutes and 13 seconds. What did you make of the magnum opus that is Coma?
Just who cares?
You weren't feeling it?
No. By this point, I wanted to kill myself, right? Like, we are, 65 minutes into a 75-minute album? I just was ready to step in front of traffic.
I mean, it is exhausting. I'm not going to lie to you. I listened to these albums quite a bit in preparation for this, and it's exhausting. It's a lot of material. It absolutely is. It's nice material. Some of it's even exceptional, like Coma. We've talked about all of Use Your Illusion number 1. In summation, I find both of these albums, frankly, more fascinating than great. But that said, I genuinely think the song Coma is fantastic. I love it. It's one of my favorite GNR songs, and I think it's so great that it merits a 10-minute and 13-second listening break. So, let's end our discussion of UYI Volume 1 with a bang, folks. Pause the show, click the link in the notes, use that time to get yourselves ready, because Use Your Illusion 2 is looming darkly on the horizon. Welcome to Salacious GNR Anecdote number 3, which is conveyed simply by having John recite Axl's rap from the Use Your Illusion 2 song, Get in the Ring.
And that goes for all you punks in the press that want to start shit by printing lies instead of the things we said. That means you, Andy Setcher at Hit Parader, Circus Magazine, Mick Wall at Kerrang, Bob Guccione Jr. at Spin. What, you pissed off because your dad gets more pussy than you? Fuck you. Suck my fucking dick. You be ripping off the fucking kids while they be paying their hard-earned money to read about the bands they want to know about, printing lies, starting controversy. You want to antagonize me, motherfucker. Get in the ring, motherfucker, and I'll kick your bitchy little ass, punk.
You thought Use Your Illusion 1 was weird? Well, welcome to Use Your Illusion 2. John, I don't like to be too dogmatic about things, and I do not believe that there's any particular reason why we would need to go through these next 14 tracks in precisely the same detailed fashion as we did for that last album. Would you be okay if once again we speed the project up a little bit?
I think everyone who just heard me struggle through that paragraph of bullshit has the complete sense of what that entire album was and actually need not hear any more about it.
Now normally I very meticulously edit things in order to convey the rigorous professionalism that we here at HM 101 are known for, but I may let that one just kind of ride as it was.
I'm not sure you should.
Well, I'll play it by ear. I'll let you know in post.
Jesus, I feel dumber.
I mean, Get in the Ring is fucking ridiculous. It absolutely is one of the stupidest things on this album. Maybe one of the stupidest things of all time. Yikes! All right, speed round time. John, you're going to read the title, and I'm going to quickly and efficiently tell the audience what I believe they need to know about each of these tracks from what I personally think is the lesser of the two Use Your Illusion albums. Speed round! Go!
Civil War.
Fantastic song. 7.5 minutes is way too long, but still kicks ass.
14 years.
This serves exactly the same function as Dust and Bones from the last album, and was also written and sung by Izzy Stradlin. But, like that song, it's quite good.
Yesterdays.
I hate this song. I've always hated this song. There will be others here that I hate considerably more. But this song is so boring.
Knocking on Heaven's Door.
For instance, I actually hate this one quite a bit more. It's actually a wonderful Bob Dylan song, but this cover sucks. Just sucks.
Get in the Ring.
Every single person involved with the production of this track should be embarrassed. This song is an embarrassment. John's reading of some of the lyrics from this song, a masterpiece. But the song itself, clusterfuck.
Shotgun Blues.
Honestly, I always forget this song exists. It seems to serve no meaningful function. It's kind of more of a Use Your Illusion 1 style, fast, unmemorable filler piece, but it's very weird in the context of this album.
Breakdown.
Now, this is actually quite possibly my second least favorite GN'R song. I hate it with the burning intensity of 1,000 suns. But you're probably wondering what my least favorite GN'R song is. Stay tuned.
Pretty Tied Up. Locomotive. So Fine.
It's the speed round of the speed round, because none of these songs are good. So Fine was written and sung by bassist Duff McKagan, which is sort of an interesting thing, but it's around this time that I start to realize in my listening how much I really don't like Use Your Illusion 2.
Estranged.
And then Estranged happens, and Slash fucking rules, and actually I start to reconsider my stance on the album.
You Could Be Mine.
Which is another song I love, and now I'm just a confused mess, thinking that perhaps this is my single favorite album of all time.
Don't Cry. Alternate lyrics.
And then I get a much-needed, poignant reminder of how much stupid fucking filler there is on both of these albums. Why GN'R? Why two nearly identical versions of the same damn song? What the fuck?
My World.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
All right, wait. Stop the presses. This one requires a very, very short, yes, I said short, listening break for a very, very unusual reason. My World, the closing track of this 2-album magnum fucking opus, is quite possibly the single worst piece of shit ever recorded in the entire lengthy history of media. You don't believe me? Dear listener, pause the podcast, click the link, and please invest just 1 minute and 22 seconds of your time into this awe-strikingly awful concluding track from Use Your Illusion 2. Good luck and Godspeed. John and I will be here to commiserate and wrap things up on the other side. John, what do you think about my world?
When I was listening to this album and this track came on, I thought that Spotify had just begun a new album of some terrible artist who had heard of the Beastie Boys and thought, I bet I could make that awful. But it turns out, no, this was actually the same album and the same band I had been listening to for the last 74 minutes. And I was confused and angry, and then it ended, and I was even more angry.
Now, I've got a not so fun fact about this tune. You ready for this?
Sure.
No one else in Guns N' Roses even knew that this song existed until after the album came out and they first heard it. According to Izzy Stradlin, quote, I gave it a listen and thought, what the fuck is this? End quote. John, A, would you agree you probably felt pretty much exactly the same as Izzy did?
100%.
Yes, me as well. And B, would you agree that this whole thing is a total dick move on Axl Rose's part?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you don't give a shit about anyone else in your band, you can do whatever you want on your bloated, selfish albums. But yeah, it's pretty idiotic to include a track on an album without consulting your colleagues.
It's not great. It's not great. Okay. It's been a long and winding tour throughout the misty, haunted landscapes which comprise the two Use Your Illusion albums. Let's talk a tiny bit more dickish and scandalous Axl Rose behavior. We're going to then briefly allude to a transition to part 2 of the epic 2-part season finale, which John is not comfortable with.
Oh, well.
And then we're out of here. We're done after that. Just real quick, tie up a couple loose ends here.
Salacious Guns N' Roses anecdote addendum. On July 29th, 1992, in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Axl, apparently having learned nothing from the St. Louis riot experience, stormed off the stage after being hit in the testicles by a lighter thrown by a fan, leading the band to cut their set short. Fortunately, this was late into that show, and the audience accepted the announcement that the show was suddenly over without any serious trouble resulting. However, the same thing was not true 2 weeks later in Montreal, when Rose, grumpy because his voice was shot, walked out on the show just 45 minutes into the set, where still, this was the famous show from the co-headlining tour with Metallica.
More on that momentarily.
When Metallica had already had to cut their own set short due to James Hetfield being badly burned by stage pyro gone awry. Instead of saving the day, Guns N' Roses both started late and ended early, leading to yet another fucking riot.
Ay, caramba! Men behaving badly. And yet we, as a society, as a podcast, have tolerated it because, well, I don't really know, actually. Axl is clearly an asshole. He's just a dick. He's a talented asshole, but he is an asshole nonetheless. And speaking of talented assholes, it's about that time that we pivot our way into part 2 of the epic season 4 finale, wherein we will focus on the other band on that bill and the other biggest heavy metal band in all the land in the early 1990s. And that would, of course, be Metallica. As John just noted, these two bands, from July 17th through October 6, 1992, toured together in an awe-inspiring co-headlining capacity. John, I had the tremendous good fortune to see one of those shows, with opening act Body Count, on September 24th of 1992 at Oakland Stadium. Have you ever envied me more?
I mean, was it good?
It was fucking magnificent. It was a great concert. Axl did nothing profoundly stupid, and James did not blow himself up. So, good time was had by all.
Wow. It's the little things.
Yeah, gets you through. Basically, I think it's fair to say that Western society as we know it peaked on that very tour, perhaps on that very day. John, you think that's fair to say?
I mean, I definitely think you're within a 10-year ballpark of when society peaked.
Ah, okay.
For sure, we're on the decline now. That's the only thing I know.
Unambiguously. Well, you about ready to get out of here, buddy?
I am.
We did it! We have now explored a musical object of unceasing fascination to me, GN'R in the Use Your Illusion era. We will soon rest in the knowledge that we have done God's good work.
This was not God's work.
Oh, John, before we leave, could you please remind the listeners of all the things which they might do in order to support this show?
We would greatly appreciate it if you would rate, review, and or share episodes of the Heavy Metal 101 podcast, any of which will help to get the word out about this show. Additionally, consider joining our Patreon page for just $3 a month for exclusive content. The link is in the episode notes. We'd love to have you.
Also, reach out to us anytime via email or social media. Those links can also be found in the episode notes. Now, instead of the standard Season 4 episode goodbye quotation, I need to end this episode by playing John's extraordinarily moving reading of Axl Rose's Get in the Ring rap. Just one more time. I gotta do it.
Oh, God.
You're all lucky people. Meanwhile, we will see you next time for the actual, honest-to-goodness, legitimate Season 4 finale. Until then, peace! 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 Peace!
And that goes for all you punks in the press that want to start shit by printing lies instead of the things we said. That means you, Andy Secker and Hit Parade. Parader? Hit Parader?
Yeah, it's you, Andy Setcher at Hit Parader.
Setcher?
Setcher at Hit Parader.
Hit Parader.
Yeah, it's actually called Hit Parade, but that's what he says.
Yeah. That means you, Andy Setcher at Hit Parader, Circus Magazine, Mick Wall at Kerrang, Bob Giacone Jr. Kerrang. I don't listen.
I know. I get it.
Are there any other fucking words in this paragraph that I need to know how to say that aren't actual words?
Guccione?
Guccione?
Bob Guccione Jr.
What's the Kerrang?
Kerrang, yeah.
Kerrang.
It's gold. You're doing amazing. You're killing it.
Mick Wall at Kerrang, Bob Guccione Jr. at Spin. What, you pissed off because your dad gets more pussy than you? Fuck you. Suck my fucking dick. You be ripping off the fucking kids while they be paying their hard-earned money to read about the bands they want to know about. That's an unfortunate paragraph break.
I thought you really conveyed it well.
Did he have a third grade reading level?
He just expressed himself very directly, with passion.
You be ripping off the fucking kids while they be paying their hard-earned money to read about the bands they want to know about, printing lies, starting controversy. You want to antagonize me, motherfucker. Get in the ring, motherfucker, and I'll kick your bitchy little ass, punk.